Good morning, everyone. I'm Juliana Jaffe, and I want to welcome you to Awakening Wednesdays, where we plant seeds and develop tools to give us a little comfort, a little ease, to come closer to our true hearts, the voice inside that tells us our deepest truth, to make life a little gentler, hopefully a lot happier. So welcome. We're going to begin today as we do most weeks. I'm going to sound a chime, and I invite you to just follow the sound into the quiet. Take a moment. I have to laugh with myself. I listened to one of the videos the other week, during the week, and I realized that I hear the sound a lot longer than you guys do. So I decided I would stop it earlier in the process. And I don't think I've shared my process with you about how topics come to me. I listen to the voice inside that tells me my highest truth as best I can. And almost always what happens is I get a sense. Sometimes it's a day before, sometimes it's a night before, sometimes it's the morning of, but all of a sudden it's like I get a download, like a computer download. It's like, oh, this is what we're going to talk about. These are some of the things I need to say. And this morning, as I was getting ready to come into the room to do this, my husband said, so what are you going to talk about today? And I said, I'm not sure. So I feel very humbled as I come to you today. And a quote did come to me just as I sat down. And that is serenity. I'm sure many of you have heard this. Serenity is not escape from the storm, but peace within the storm. And those are really profound words. They're simple words. They're really not easy words to live. And so I'm very aware this morning of all of the storms that all of us are making our way through. Some physical, some emotional, some spiritual, some all of the above. For me, this has been an intense week. First of all, for those of you who don't know, I live in South Florida, and we are expecting a visitor none of us really want to welcome, and that is Hurricane Milton. He is expected to make ground this evening. I am very blessed to literally, when I look at the map, be on the right side of the hurricane. That doesn't mean we'll escape the effects completely. But so soon on the heels of just a trauma that people are still experiencing to a very large degree from Helene. I'm also someone who, the anniversary of October 7th, 2 days ago, hit very hard. And a rabbi who I listened to said something I thought was so interesting. And she said, for those of you who don't know, this is also the time of the Jewish New Year. So it's when we look to kind of take stock in where we've been and what do we want to take with us into the new year and what do we want to leave behind. And one of the things she said that was so thought-provoking for me was, how do you move on into a new year when you're not complete with the year you've been in? And I think for so many, this has been such a tumultuous year, and things are in such a quote-unquote incomplete state. How do we let that go and move on? And it's not just this year. If you've had loss, if you've, had someone you love die, and you think, I don't want to move into a new year. I don't want to leave them behind. And if you've had wonderful joy and there's been births or weddings and you say, I don't want to leave that behind. I want to take it with me. And so, these can be really challenging transitions. And I think transition, when everything is still very much in a state of upheaval and great transformation, and a lot of it coming in ways we would never in a million years. How do we handle that? What do we do? And so that's what I thought I'd just kind of touch on today. And because I don't have the great answers, I'm walking my path right next to you. But a couple of things came to me. The first is that we do it together. And I'm hoping for you all who watch that this is a part of your together, that these little broadcasts I do help you feel not quite so alone, and that you're not doing this journey by yourself. Because the truth is, none of us are doing this journey by ourselves. Whether we're aware of it, whether we're not aware of it, we all have helpers, and sometimes they're in physical form, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're divine helpers. But anybody who touches our heart, who I love, there's another quote that I love, and it says, stay close to people who make you feel like sunshine, or who bring the sunshine. And I know for me that's so true, particularly at tumultuous times. I need connection, and I need connection with people who not are, like my mother used to call Sally Sunshine, not who are like, everything's going to be fine. That has its place. But people who are deeply connected, that on some level life is happening for us, that if we hold hands and hold our hearts in front of us, that we're going to find our way through it together, no matter what. And I think that's what we need right now. We need to be holding hands with one another. And we need to not be looking too far ahead. That's another thing that I found makes such a profound difference. And the Buddhists talk about just the next right step. Like, don't look 5 steps ahead. Just, I'm in the storm, it's going on. Here I am, my feet are planted. What's one next step I can take on my own behalf? Is it calling a friend? Is it looking at the tree outside my window? That is why I'm in the office I'm in my home, because I can look outside and I can see this tree that is green and swaying and lovely and life-giving. And it helps me. It's my friend. I can think of something wonderfully pleasant, no matter how simple. It's said so often, if we have pets, connecting with our pets, stroking our pets, bringing to mind a wonderful experience we had. I was reminded again yesterday, I heard this a number of years ago, and I was listening to a podcast someone was doing yesterday, and they brought through the same truth, and I think it's so important that the mind does not, the inner workings and the inner firings of the mind, excuse me for my lack of science here, does not make a distinction between when we are imagining an experience and when we are having that physical experience. All of the same parts of our brain fire. So if we take a moment and just breathe, nice out breath. Why don't we do this right now instead of me demonstrating it? Why don't you close your eyes, take a moment, and just focus on your out breath for a moment. blowing out that which doesn't serve. And now what I want you to do is just bring to mind either an experience that just warmed your heart, that was delightful, that was sweet, that was joyful, or imagine one. What you would exactly love, something that nourishes your soul. So we're not talking about winning $1 million or, we're talking about something that just makes your heart so happy. And bring that to mind. Do you have it? Now allow yourself to really internally bring yourself into that experience. So you're not just observing it, but you're in the movie. You're feeling those wonderful feelings of warmth, of happiness, of sweetness. And breathe that in. And then as you're ready, open your eyes, come back in. That is a tool that is always, always, always available. And when we go in there, we change our brain chemistry. We change our wiring. And that's how we make a difference for ourselves and how we make a difference for one another. So I wish you as gentle and smooth a path through all of the craziness and upheaval that we're facing right now. And remember, you're not alone. As the song goes, you've got a friend. Take care. See you next week. Bye now.